Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Loving what we're going to talk about today. She's an interior designer. We've seen so many interesting things to transform your living space, your workspace. Today, I'm going to call it the secret sauce. Those things that a designer can do to really make transformation, but these are the things that you would never think of because you and I are not designers. She is. So we're gonna see some things. We're gonna hear some things. Very excited to have Marcia Moore back on with us. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Is there any particular room that we're focusing on, or we're going to go random here, all different situations, scenarios, and the secret tips that come to mind when you're working with somebody?
It's very random, all different kinds of things. Yeah.
Perfectly fine. I love going from room to room. That's also good too. I know we've centered on some rooms before, be it the bedroom, the kids' room, kitchen, living room, and such. So let's do it. We're peeling back the curtain. You're looking into the production, and you have some pictures to show us too, which I love. So let's bring those up here.
Okay.
Kind of describe what we're looking at and what you were thinking in the transformation that took place. So it looks like I'm not really sure what room this is, but it looks very
Bad.
You know what? I try to look at the positive in anything.
It has good bones.
I guess it's a living room, but it looks like it's an older building. I see the ductwork in the ceiling, which there could be a place for that in a let's say an office where you want that vibe. I see the brick on the wall. I've seen this done before, but this is somebody's living room. So
yeah. So this is a loft in a building that used to be it's called the printer's loft. It used to be a printer's place downtown St. Louis. So it's 3 or 4 stories high. So yes, it does have exposed ductwork, big, huge concrete pillars, concrete floors, brick on the outside walls, and that all stays. There's nothing you can do about that. You like that look. One of the reasons you buy a condo in a loft like that is because you like that kind of industrial look. So, but what we were specifically looking at here is the wall where the TV is, and they've got a lot of little pictures scattered above the TV. So in a loft, you get these big, huge expanses of walls that you have to do something to make it look comfortable and inviting rather than just another big, huge wall. And here is what we did.
Ooh, okay. Now, interestingly, before you jump into it, you did keep the unique ductwork on the ceiling because it is very different. It's not the square, industrial looking. It's more of a rounded.
It's rounded, yeah, wrapped in some kind of metal.
Yeah, it's got some nice texture to it and interest. Yeah. You kept the brick on the wall. You kept was that window there previously?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay. Interesting window. There's lots of multi-panes in that.
Very typical of old industrial buildings where you have a couple of panes that open up and the rest of it is not openable.
The column on that wall you kept, which interesting texture. Like, wow.
Yeah, definitely old building concrete that's been around a while. Yeah. So that stuff stays. It's most of the places like that will not let you try and use any nails in that concrete. They don't want you to touch it with anything. So it is what it is. So we just kind of ignore that. That's part of the beauty of this kind of building is it has that charm. If that's not what you're into, you would never buy this condo. So the people who buy these kinds of places love that kind of charm.
Mm-hmm.
But that big, huge expansive wall, we didn't want to just hang pictures or anything. So what we did was put molding on the wall. The gold portion that you see is applied molding, just like you would see in below a chair rail in a dining room or in a library in somebody's home. It's just that same kind of molding. And then inside of the molding, we had a painter faux paint so that it looks like it's malachite, looks like it's a stone, like we applied stone to the wall, but it's just paint.
Wow. Okay. So the molding was that applied using nails or was it a glue?
That was nails because that is drywall
Oh, it
behind
is.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just checking because we had mentioned the column is certain,
right,
like
right.
stone, uh, and the colors. Where did the colors come from? We're looking at pink, very bright pink on the
So
couches and the
these
green.
people, you can barely see it in this photo. Over to the right is the countertop. These people love Hollywood Regency design, which is very out there, lots of bright colors, and that's what they were into. And the stone that we used on the island has all of those colors in it. It was a marble that had pinks and greens and blues and purples in it, and that kind of set the the tone for the rest of the room. You can see the existing kitchen cabinets, which you see on the right, are painted pink.
Hmm.
And then there's a green tile backsplash behind it. And then we kind of worked with all those colors for all of the furniture in the room.
Wow. You kept the charm. You kept the charm, and I totally see it. If you're in this space, you like that kind of edgy industrial kind of feel, but
Hmm.
you took it and softened it, and you also made it interesting. Uh, with what was done, I love what was done on the faux stone or whatever inside the
Moldings.
molding. I was going to say frame. Uh, could you? Could you have done some type of picture design up there using pictures? I mean, they just had random family photos stuck to the wall.
Yes,
Not,
we absolutely could have. I do that a lot.
uh-huh.
But since the TV is the focal point here,
Yep.
I wanted something that was really interesting but wouldn't take away from the TV.
As you're saying it, I'm thinking it.
See, you got
Yeah.
some little design ideas there.
After I let that question go, then it was coming back like, because if I'm watching TV, I would be looking at the subjects in the picture, whereby this just brings my eye right to the TV. And by the way, I call it the TV stand, entertainment area, whatever it is, definitely has a like a cool, like in my mind, like well, mid '60s, late '60s
Yep.
retro vibe.
Yeah, yes, it does, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done. Very cool.
Okay, so next picture in the same building, this is on the other side of the kitchen. You can see the kitchen cabinets used to be
Hmm.
maple and now they're painted pink. But be on the other side of this pillar, we created a coffee and tea bar. And rather than just having the same pink cabinets, these are painted this very vibrant blue color. The same countertop is used here that was used on the island. That's tile on the wall behind it, a real geometric pattern of tile with gold glass shelves on the
Wow.
to hold everything in front of it, and some really interesting starburst or sunburst um, cabinet hardware. That's a great way to spruce up any kitchen, is to change out your hardware to something interesting.
Hmm. And it is interesting in that previously they had just a basic cabinet and a stainless steel mini garbage can.
Yeah.
And my gosh, you talk about maximizing your space. Whoa,
Yeah. Every inch counts in this kind of a place. Yeah.
you get that done. You get that done. Wow. And that column, it's got such interesting shape and texture.
Hmm.
You don't want to touch anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I
Wow.
just love those pillars. I think they're very interesting.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Like it almost looks like you applied a finish to it, or maybe you call it a faux finish, or you could have, but you don't need to because it's there and it's
Yeah.
the natural part of it.
The shape of them really reminds me of when I was in Greece and saw all the can't think of the word, the old buildings,
Antiquated.
antiquity, all the antiquity there. That kind of pillar with the top that was splayed out like that was very typical of Greece, ancient Greece.
It's funny. I'm not even looking at the top. I'm looking at the just the texture. But when you look at the top, it kind of fans out.
Hmm.
But wow, big, big. I mean, you don't want to touch that. You just leave that the way it is.
For anybody who can't see these pictures, it looks like an enormous tee that you use for
Okay.
golf.
Golf. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does. Wow. Yeah, very unique. Very unique.
Okay.
It's and it just goes to show that you keep the integrity there, but you add around it, but you add so much around it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. Here's a picture of a two-story great room that has faux painted walls and medallions up near the ceiling and a fireplace that's in a kind of a dirty brown color. The whole room to me just looks dirty and dusty and moldy and it was so dated. So
You
we
know,
needed.
I want to interject in here if I may.
Okay.
Some may look at this and say, wow, that's the after, because it does look, what's the best word? Finished. You know, it doesn't look like it does look a little dingy and, get those plants are dead. Let's be honest, get them
Mhm.
out of there. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
short of that though, some may think that, this was, redesigned.
Yeah, and at some point it may have been, but
Right.
that was years ago. So here's what we did.
Wow.
So the whole room is painted white as a backdrop. The medallions up near the ceiling are painted gold so that they look almost like nail heads that you see on chairs, and they feel like they're holding up the ceiling. And then we faux painted that dingy looking fireplace to make it look like it's burled walnut. So the whole thing looks like it's carved wood now, as opposed to looking so dingy.
Wow.
And
Wow. I can't.
this was a biophilic design. These people were really into live plants everywhere. So that's why you see so many plants around here. Their daughter's actually in school to become a, whatever the term is for somebody who deals with plants. Can't think of it. So there were all those
Horticulturist?
horticulturists. Yeah. So that bookcase over by the window is all her starter plants. We had, that was the first thing they asked me to find. It was something to house all those plants, but.
Wow. I am intrigued with the fireplace and the treatment that you did there. Whoa. It looks like marble. It just looks
Yeah,
so
it's
fresh.
so beautiful. Yeah, it
Oof.
really is.
You know what? When I'm thinking about the before, it just struck me what it reminds me of. Nearby, there's an arboretum that has a building there that's kind of historical, and you don't even walk in. It's like blocked off because it's the family that owned the arboretum had a little bit of legacy, regency to them, where you would just look in from the turn of the 19th century, and you would see, with the kitchen table with the plates and everything, but you wouldn't go
Yeah.
in there. Kind of looks like that. Here, the light just shines in. It's bright. It's fresh.
It's so
Wow,
inviting now. It's just, and
it
I
is.
love the chairs in the front of the picture.
How
So
could you ignore that window?
one other thing to notice in this picture, I'm going to kind of blow it up here a little bit, see if I can do that.
Hmm.
So you see underneath the coffee table is a patterned rug. We found that rug. We fell in love with it. Everybody said it's got to be here, but it wasn't big enough for the room. So in order to use that rug, we put underneath it a very thin, kind of like a mat rug, much bigger so that all the furniture sits on it because you want your furniture to be grouped onto your rug. And then the beautiful rug can be in the middle of the room and it feels like it works.
Wow. Just the light is the high point, I believe, in that room, and the medallions along the ceiling, just below the ceiling.
Mhm.
Um, to me, I believe that's a little bit of your secret sauce going in there.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to highlight them
Mm.
so that because they're very unique and interesting. And I didn't want to highlight the molding that was above them. If you see back in the first picture,
Mm.
you can
Mm.
see it's dental work molding. It's real detailed, and I thought that's too much. So I didn't want to see that. I just wanted to see the medallions.
So you left that molding, but obviously you painted the whole room. I
Painted the
don't.
whole room. Yeah, the whole room is painted white, so none of that other molding really stands out. It just blends in with the room.
Mm. What's it, I feel going on here by painting those medallions along the ceiling, that gold color, you're making the eye go up and see and appreciate the expanse of the room.
Mm-hmm. Very much, yes.
Yeah, because it's a very high ceiling. Why
It is, yeah,
get
it's
your eye
two
up there?
stories high. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, okay. This room, this home, you can tell at the top of the picture has a barrel ceiling, which is a really interesting, unique feature to see in a home. You don't see that very often at all.
No,
It's a
no.
really fun feature, but it was painted the same white as the wall, so it didn't stand out. And then they had these lights that weren't working at all. So we did our magic here and painted the ceiling to look
Wow.
like it's copper metal.
Mm,
And it really sets off the room then. You notice the ceiling, it's beautiful, and it sets the tone for the rest of the room.
cozy.
Yeah, made it real cozy.
Hmm. I almost feel like the ceiling is the blanket that's tucking you in.
Yeah, that's a good term.
What it
Good way of
feels like.
looking at it.
Did you,
Yeah.
we don't see it so much here, but there were lights in the before that were
So
pointing
that,
up.
yes, if you look on the right
I
side up
see.
above the window, you see light. So there's actually lights up there, but you can't notice them as lights anymore.
So are they still there? Like if you turned them on, would they be shining up to the ceiling like it was previously?
But all you would see was a glow. You wouldn't see those hot lights, where big, huge light
Like little,
blank,
like
big,
mini
huge light blank.
spotlights, like
It's
mini
just
spotlights it
a real
was.
soft glow. And I'm sorry, I didn't put a picture in here that shows that, but
So
yeah.
do you change out the lights?
Oh, yes, we absolutely changed those out to just their LED tape
Oh,
lights
okay.
sitting up there.
Wow, nice. Because I have to believe that if it was the same lights, it would be too harsh for the ceiling.
It was definitely too hard. It was too harsh to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just hideous.
Yeah,
And it
I
was
know.
so hot that the lights were so hot that they made marks on the ceiling.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
So that's a lighter color. I can't imagine with the gold tone color that you made, uh, darker is going to show more imperfection. So if those
Hmm.
lights still remained, it'd be like you'd see every little thing that going up there on the
Yeah.
ceiling.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah. So
really
that's that.
cool. Wow.
I need to get this down to, there we go. So keeping with the paint theme, accent walls are a good way of highlighting and making a room interesting. So this room had a fireplace that was not pretty at all. There was nothing interesting about the fireplace. And we needed to make the room feel more cohesive and cozy because it's just an extension from the breakfast area in the kitchen. So it's not a room all by itself. It's a real hearth room. So painting the wall and the fireplace the same tone of, it's a really dark eggplant color, made that room feel like a little room all to itself and kept you from noticing that the fireplace didn't really look nice.
I learned something here in that, and I've done accent walls before, but anytime I've done an accent wall, I've picked a color that complements it. I never considered what looks here just white, and wow, it works.
Yeah.
I- Yeah,
This is the same house as um, the one with the faux painted fireplace and the double story. That's the same house. This is at the other end of their house.
I would have been afraid to just use white. I would think that, well, no, I have to complement it with another color because I'm making it dark as an accent. But this works wonderful. It really
It's
does.
it's nice just to have that one color as an accent and everything else be a blank canvas so that your furniture is highlighted as opposed to the rest of the walls being highlighted. Those walls are all chopped up with doors and windows and then opening into the kitchen. So there's no reason to highlight them and make them stand out.
And what's really cool here is the two thin rounded windows on each side of the fireplace. They're unique. This calls attention to it.
Yes, rather than the fireplace. You hardly even notice that the fireplace is there
Was it
unless
was it
it's
that
lit.
horrible with the fireplace that
It was
lame?
just like builder grade boring, not anything really nice at all.
Hmm.
But
Wow.
it wasn't a room where they wanted to spend the money to redo the fireplace and make it a focal point.
Got it.
So we just made the wall the focal point.
Really nice. And the I don't even know what to call it. The artwork, the design in the middle of the above the fireplace in the middle
Yeah,
of the
it's
wall.
that's carved wood.
Oh,
Yeah. It's these people were both originally from Colombia, South America.
no.
And so they brought a few pieces like that with them that are scattered throughout their home that are reminiscent of their homeland. They were a fun couple to work with.
This is stuff that the average person would have no idea. You could, yeah, go troll Google. See if you come up with ideas. Good luck with that. Because every situation is different. Every room is different.
Yeah.
Wow.
One more accent wall. This younger couple wanted to feel like they lived in a resort because they both work from home. So they wanted their home to feel like a resort, not just an extension of an office. And so the living room, we painted the wall behind the TV and fireplace that we added. We painted it a soft blue to make it feel like the tropics, along with all
Mm-mm-mm.
the tropical plants and everything that we put into the room.
That's my jam
Yeah,
right
it's your
there.
jam.
Yeah, that's it. It's right there. I'm feeling it right down to the window. The window,
Uh-huh.
whatever's going on in the window looks like these large
They're
louvers that you would see in the Caribbean.
they're plantation shutters, yes.
Thank you.
And the plantation shutters, if you notice, you don't see the typical bar in the middle of them.
Hmm.
That keeps them, when you move it up and down the slats move. It's a hidden bar on this, so that's a more contemporary look, not to have that bar showing.
So I do have a question. I love everything in this room. I love the colors, the feel, the vibe. I guess they're called verticals on the window. Are they still in?
They are. You can find one these, you can't tell it in this picture, but they have a very tropical pattern on them that's
Okay.
very muted and looks really good in the room. The problem with sliding doors, that's the only thing that's cost effective to put on a sliding door.
Yeah,
They have some beautiful panels to put on a sliding door. They're about 5 times more expensive than the verticals.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
it's just some people will pop for that, some people can't.
I can't even imagine what you would put there to cover that space, but also have the functionality, where you can open and close and all of
Right,
that.
right.
And I guess, honestly, I have them where I am now, and I'm so bored with them.
Yeah, I know. They are boring.
And it reminds me of the first place I ever had. It was a townhouse I bought, let's just say the early 90s. And it had those. So like it's
Mhm.
taken me back there and then where I am now. Again, I told you I'm in between homes,
Yeah.
waiting for the prices to come down and the interest rate. So I have them now. So it's like, I can't, they're following me around, but what else are you going to put there? All
Yeah.
I'm going to say about those is after decades, why can't they design them so they're more durable? They don't sometimes turn the other way. Like, come
Mhm.
on,
Yeah.
come on. It's
Yeah.
so fun. And then
Yep.
then you go up there to turn it so they're all in the same direction. I
And
blank
then
and
they flip
snapped it.
off.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
And not easy to
Yep.
fix.
Nope.
There, I went on a rant. I'm sorry.
Okay. So next is my very own IKEA hack. So this shelving is the Kallax shelving from IKEA. I had the same couple the last picture we just saw.
Mhm.
They turned their formal dining room into a library because they didn't need a formal dining room and they really wanted a library. And we priced custom cabinets or custom bookcases, which was way out of their budget. So this was my IKEA hack. I took 3 of these, which cost less than $500.
Wow.
We built a platform for them so that they were higher and took up more of the wall space. We built pillars in between them and then crown molding above them and made it look like a total built-in custom bookcase.
No
And then
words.
we
Amazing.
spent an entire day um,
Arranging.
creating the books, putting the books and all the accessories in there so it was artfully arranged.
Just amazing. And all the hard work was done by IKEA in the cubbies, if you will.
Uh-huh.
Um, Just amazing. We're out of time. We can keep going. I don't know if you have more. We'll pick it
Yeah,
up
I
next
got
time.
plenty more.
Oh man. So cool. Like I love peeling the curtain. Don't show next time. I just love
Okay.
just there's so much to be seen here and so many tricks to learn. Even the IKEA hack and just certainly the price involved there. Just a piece of what you do in making, these living spaces look amazing. How do we find you? How do we find you, Marcia?
MarciaMooreDesign.com. Marcia is spelled Marciamoore, design, no S on the end of it.
Does this final question here, do you get excited when you have the opportunity to to work on something with somebody?
Oh, absolutely. I just love what I do. I can't imagine ever retiring because it's so much fun.
Every day's a new day.
Yeah, everything is
Wow.
different. Every job is different, and we never do the same thing twice.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here and sharing and looking forward to peeling back the curtain next time we get together.
All right.
We'll be
Thank
right
you.
back.